ladies and gentlemen, let's get this party started. 2020 versus 2024. We're going with the HEMS missions. And I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with what 2024 has in store for us. I have been doing HEMS pilot missions for quite some time using the High Performance Group Action Pack. I try to keep all of my settings as realistic as possible, and I'm guaranteeing you that the sky is not the limit. We are so excited about this. Today I'm going to be using a little bit of a plug-in that I did not use in yesterday's recording. I'm going to be using this lossless scaling 2.11 to try to get frame rates to keep up with what I'm doing. I am not going to be in the USRCS airfield. I'm not going to be in California. Instead, I'm going to be at a little place we call Reunion Island in the west portion of the Indian Ocean. This is going to be off the hook. This is one of my favorite places to fly. Let's see how this goes. So we're going to do a Control-Alt-S to begin that scaling. Manually do that. We're going to push this here and do a Control-Alt-S one more time. I believe we are currently now in a scaling mode, still at 30 frames per second. Let's see how this works. So, of course, I am in the H145 by Airbus, provided by the Hype Performance Group. We're going to do all of our startup procedures here according to the book, at least as far as I know, as a sim pilot. I have flown a Huey one time for a short period of time back when I was, I'd say about 19 years old and in the service. Got that opportunity. Loved doing it. I've been an RC pilot for the majority of my life. I'm also a drone pilot on the side, and I think what we're missing in this stream right now is just something as simple as maybe a little bit of music. We're going to go with something a little bit quieter, something on the down low today. Let's see how it works. Let's continue to work this up. We're going to get all of our standby battery and avionics masters on. We're going to turn on the LAVCS. We're going to prop some lights into the proper position. Our co-pilot and pilot pitot tubes are enabled. Let's get a primer on for engine number 2 and spool that bad boy up right here. As that goes, we're going to disengage these autopilot assists, and we are going to get this party started. Now, as you can see in the background here, this location is one that I'm considering to be my #1 choice for HEMS missions in 2024, just because of how dynamic of a landscape we're working with here. Mountains, cliffs, villages, switchback roads. We're surrounded by the ocean. In the current sim 2020, using the app that Hype Performance Group has available with the Action Pack, there are 3 hospitals on the island. Not all of them are terrific. Not all of them have good helipads, but since they are saying that they have modeled all of the helipads around the world, I'm assuming, hopefully correctly, that we are going to have some great hospitals to work with in this area once things get started here in just a couple of days. And I don't know about you, but I could not be more excited about this. I can't wait. We're going to get our weight and balances set up here. Payload, nothing as of yet. We're going to put a crew weight in here of a full boat of individuals on board. We're going to average that to about 860 pounds between all of us. I think we'll put a little bit more fuel on board. I like to push this to around 1,200 pounds. There we go. We got those values set. We're also going to do a decision altitude over here. Decision height as well. I generally try to keep this about 200 feet AGL. There we go. Got our barometers set. We are going to be using live weather conditions here on this island. see how this turns out. I'm not going to go in real time because I believe it's actually nighttime there, and I want you guys to get a better idea of what is in store when it comes to this island. This place is absolutely gorgeous. Alright, I believe everything is set up and in place here. All we need to do is get the engines up to condition. All the maintenance is done. Our aircraft is configured. We're going to pull up the map. Set this to a northerly orientation just because that's how we like to operate. This St. Denis Hospital right here is really close to a bridge that I'm hoping looks a lot better in 2024 than it does currently. But let's see what we're working with. And I'm going to start right off the bat and go straight into a mountain rescue. We're going to do this pretty far away. I think what we're going to wind up doing is something as far away as we can possibly get. Let's go 10 to 70 kilometers away for this mission. Wow, 10 to 70 kilometers, and it gives us one that's 2.2 nautical miles away. Let's change that and hope for something better, a little further away where we can get a better idea of what this island has to offer. Because this island, if you haven't been here before, I highly recommend this place for any kind of flying you can do. If you're doing some canyon running in like the F-18 or something, this place is off the hook for stuff like that. Here we go. It is finally setting up a mission. We've got one 7.1 nautical miles away. It's going to be good enough, I believe. Let's get that started. We're going to accept that dispatch and let's do this. Got everything in order. Oh, the only thing left to do here is get these fuel pumps in line. We're going to put the transfer pump on for engine number 1 and turn our primers off for 1 and 2. And we should be in flight ready status. There we go. Everything looks good. So we're going to take off and just fly direct for the benefit of our survivor. This is H-145 Sarheli 241 departing. Let's do this. We are en route to our injured hiker here on the beautiful island of Reunion. This place, I can't wait to see this in 2024. Let's go for a little ride. Soak it all in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to chime in, add into that chat, see what we can do. If I can answer any questions you have, of course I'm happy to do that. For some reason, it's saying that my chat is disabled for this live stream. Not exactly sure why, but going forward, I will look into that and correct that in any future videos. This is the first time I have streamed with this channel, so if things go wrong, you'll know why. Slow down too much. I definitely need to get some altitude in a hurry here so I can get over this ridge. hopefully the relaxing music is enjoyable for everybody. If not, again, post a comment and we'll see if we can't change that going forward. I do use the Storyblocks website for my music. I have a subscription there. I do have a link to that website down below in the description of this video. Feel free to sign up for your own subscription. I do not get any kickbacks. This is not a monetized channel. We are here for your enjoyment and everyone's learning. Let's just learn from this. Let's learn what we want to see when we're running HEMS missions in 2024. Because this place, if you haven't seen, this place is off the hook. FMEE is the ICAO code for our home base here on Reunion Island, if you didn't already know. Now that glitching is happening because I'm bouncing back and forth between the OBS software that I'm live streaming from and the simulator. Normally it doesn't happen, but because I am using this other app for scaling, the lossless scaling 2.11, every time I leave the screen with the cursor and go back to it, I get a little bit of a glitch like that. But I have increased a lot of the settings here to the Ultra. And with the scaling, I'm still getting a very consistent 30 frames per second, which, as you heard in yesterday's video, for me, is perfectly fine. Movies are shot in 24 frames per second the majority of the time, so why do we need to push 60, 80, 100 and some odd frames for a flight simulator? As long as the experience is a smooth one, we have proper motion blur, not a lot of stuttering, and good graphics at the same time, I'm pretty happy. And you know, even though these graphics aren't perfect, we're still in 2020. All of the trees are still 2D. The ground is flat photogrammetry. But boy, I bet you anything, come 2024, this island, ooh, this is gonna be good. Look what we're coming across here. Look at this ridge. On the other side of this is just this vast valley full of ridges. Terrain features that you don't really find in too many places around this planet. Again, I am in live weather, and it's looking really, really good so far. Now, on my map here, it looks as though I'm relatively close to this scene. And if I'm reading this properly, it's somewhere on this ridge line. I see the tents right here at the corner of this ridge. This is definitely going to be a hoisting maneuver. And let's see if we can line this up. I'm probably going to stop talking here for a second while I get that done. Well, this is glitching out like I just can't even imagine. I've got the hoist set, I've got the flight mech down and out of the aircraft, and he's just not doing anything, and it's completely non-responsive. I might have to actually stop this mission and start over. Let's see what's happened. Alright, I am not sure what is going on with this at all. I've got engines doing weird things. I've got smoke coming out of the back of this thing constantly. I've got a flight mech that's just hanging out alongside the aircraft. I can't take back off. It's saying I'm in idle. Look at the controls of this thing are doing absolutely bizarre things, and this is something that I've never experienced with this aircraft before. It says idle and host standby. If you can see what's happening here on the flight controls, I am not doing any of that movement with the engine 1 idle and all of that. This is all happening just by itself. So what I think I'm going to do is actually abort this mission completely and see if this is part of the problem, because so far it really does appear to be that way. I'm not sure why. Like I said, this is the very first time I've experienced anything like this, and what's weird though is now that I've abandoned that mission, I'm back into a flight model that works. But look at this area. Look at the diversity of the just terrain around here. We are talking about some major rescue missions just waiting to happen in a spot like this. Simply gorgeous. Totally excited about this. Let's see what happens if I start up a new mission, if we wind up with something similar. What's interesting here is it's already got a line on there as if to say I should be flying back to a hospital or something, but I'm not even in a mission anymore. So let's see what happens if we start a brand new one. Let's do something close. Setting up the mission, it should reset. There we go, 1.3. There's the start. The destination is almost directly behind me. Alright, that was absolutely bizarre. Didn't talk my way through it very much with you guys just because of how crazy that situation was. And then I started noticing what was happening with it, and I think it might actually have something to do with how long I sat idle on the airport before getting this flight started. Just in preparations for the stream. And I think that may have had something to do with it. Either that, or maybe, just maybe, it has something to do with this scaling app. I sincerely hope not. But it is a factor that we weren't necessarily using before, so it could be. Very well could be. Let's see what happens when we approach mission number 2 here, without really going anywhere or doing anything other than failing. It was supposed to be a hoist mission. Turned up to be a failed crooked landing on top of a mountain that would probably would have crashing the helicopter had we not been in 2020. I don't think I would even try to land in 2024 in a spot like that. But it looks like what we've done here is actually just moved this accident scene from one peak to the next. Now I can't see any of the tents just yet, but it may not be on this peak. It could be. Ooh, look at the ridge line. Oh my goodness. Tell me this isn't going to be great in 2024. There's our tents right at the top of this ridge right here. These campers have got to be just some of the most skilled climbers to even get into a spot like this. But they can't be that skilled because here I am, they've called me. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is try very hard not to lose control during this hover here, because it is very easy with the wind coming over the ridge, and then when I go into an external view or even down the right side. There we go. So let's see if we can see the hook going down. It still says 0 feet. So with that, I can assume here that, see, now what? There goes the engine again. See that? See that? I've got problems with the engines. They're just doing things all by themselves. We're in the same issue here where we're not going to get a response out of this. So here's what we are going to do. I am going to come back into the abort mission option, and we are going to start those engines back up, hopefully without coming out of the sky. And even though I've aborted that mission, it's still got that magenta line there. I need to take the autopilot off. But we're going to go back over here to our home base airport. Actually, you know what? Without even doing that, how about this? Bear with me for a second while I deal with some technical issues. We're just going to do a restart. Let's start over. And let's just hope that what the problem was is solved. I have a feeling it will be. So let's keep our fingers crossed and just work with it. Let's see what happens now that we've got this back up and running. Let's see if the glitch continues. I'm really hoping it doesn't, but only one way to tell. We're going to go ahead and speed through this here with an auto start. And again, we are Going to take a peek at Reunion Island in the West Indian Ocean. SAR missions, search and rescue. Helicopter emergency medical services being provided by yours truly. And we're comparing it to what we'll see in 2024. Let's go ahead and do our maintenance on the aircraft here. Let's get the configuration back the way we like it. Here we go. Put the ELT on the bottom. Everything else is in place. Our RO should be reset right here. Let's get the weight and balance set. Our crew weight. Again, we're going to load in at approximately 160 pounds between the entire crew. And we'll put on around 1,200 pounds of fuel, maybe 13, something like that. Looks good. Again, we're just testing this out. Let's go ahead and get a quick mission started here. We're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to go to the HPG HEMS missions, nearby mountain rescue. Let's try this out one more time. Let's go to the 10 to 70 kilometers away. This should be some kind of an injured hiker. Hopefully we can get there in time. Here we go. We'll accept the dispatch for 14.6 kilometers away. We're going to direct fly. Not worried about ATC because we're here to save lives. Straight up over the top. And we are absolutely going to need to climb all the way over that ridge to get to our downed hiker. Take a good look at around. Again, I'm flying off of this airport here, which is FMEE. No payware. This is all the way it looks in the base sim. The only payware here is the H145 itself. That does come with the action pack that allows us to do these HEMS missions in 2020, but this is supposed to be included with 2024. Now, whether or not you can do these in like free flight like I am right now is a different story. For some reason I highly doubt it, and they're going to restrict it to only career mode, but that's also something that I'm very, very curious about. Will it be restricted to career mode, or can we do this type of rescue mission just in free flight? Now, the High Performance Group for 2020 does have a mission editor that ships with it, where you can actually create your own rescue missions, whether it be out to sea, in the mountains, golf courses, car accidents, motorcycle accidents, things along those lines. But what kind of ability will we have in 2024 to do things like that, if at all? Should be very interesting. Either way, I am in for it, and I cannot wait. The scenery around here is just fantastic. So if you missed yesterday's video, we were in Chicago for the first half of that, and then we did a little bit of Southern California by the Rotorcraft Support Facility out there with the ICAO code of USRCS. And those are my 3 choices for places to do HEMS missions in 2024. So far, I am really leaning towards this specific location. I am in real weather right now. I've got the wind coming from about my 90 out the right window to the west. I don't know what the speed of the wind is, but it doesn't seem to be impacting the flight of the aircraft very much. One thing I do know is that this looks flat, right? Even though it doesn't look horrible, we've heard reports that they are supposed to be using agricultural type data in the new sim to properly drop crops around the world up to and including farm animals such as cows. And you've probably even heard that they are including animals all the way around the world for the photo, what do they call it? The photo op mode, or whatever it may be, another career mode sort of thing that you could do, fly around and take pictures of wildlife all the way around the world. I can only imagine the kind of wildlife that is going to be on this island. It's a volcanic island. I highly recommend flying around this place. There are little craters, there are big craters all over this planet. But this island contains a lot of them. Such a dynamic topography. And with HEMS missions, having that variety, where one mission you're going to be in the mountains doing a hiker rescue like this, and then we might actually get like a cruise ship rescue, which again, those are going to be updated in 2024 to be within 30 seconds of real time with the navigational information from real world cruise ships and boats. And with an island like this, how can you not have cruise ships running around, right? Look at this place. I have a feeling this is going to be off the chain in 2024. Because it's already kind of off the chain even in 2020. Just incredible. Let's see how close we are getting. Well, we're still at about 6.5 nautical miles away from our accident scene. Once again, this is going to be some injured hikers. Probably going to be on the top of this rise just ahead of us, but we'll see. I am drifting a little bit to the left of the path, but I'm en route. It's looking good. I do want to apologize for not having a chat available at this point. I'm not sure why chat was disabled, but I do plan on fixing that, of course, going forward. So, very sorry. There isn't currently a chat available. I thank you for watching. You're appreciated. And hopefully, we can get you excited about HEMS missions in 2024 with a location like this. The H-145, it does not come in the base sim. But the new helicopter that Hype Performance Group provided will do these exact same missions, because that's who created the helicopter that I'm currently flying. One and the same. I'm going to come into a little bit of clouds here. Let's see if we can actually avoid these. And if you missed yesterday's video, you'll know that I always fly these by hand. I'm not using any autopilot controls, even though the H-145 is fully equipped with autopilot. I like to hand fly it. Even when it comes to a hover recovery with a winch operation, it's just very challenging to keep a steady chopper. Be spatially aware of where your rescue swimmer is landing. Ooh, I don't know where this guy is going to be. Is he going to be further down in the valley? Where are we at here? We're looking at like a 3.3 nautical miles away. Hard to say if he's going to be in the valley. Do we have HTAWs available? Does not look like it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. These are all flaws that I hope are corrected within Flight Sim 2024. Because that would be very helpful right now to see what altitude our accident victim is at. I actually think he's going to be somewhere on that ridge that rises there in the distance. We'll just keep an eye on it as we get closer. Seems to be a little further off to the right-hand side, so I have a feeling we're not going to be on that rise. Okay, we can see a little bit of a slit in that map. I have a feeling it's going to be in this valley. Not trying to go too incredibly fast through here. The winds do not travel in one direction here, let me tell you that. This is going to be on the valley floor. Probably hoisting through the trees. I see a little bit of a hill just ahead of me here, and for some reason the high performance group collaboration team likes to put these accident scenes either at the very top of a hill or way down in the valley where it's really hard to get to. I'm curious to see what the density of vegetation in this area also does in the next sim. Because you can see a lot of green grass looking stuff sort of underneath, but these, I really doubt that in real life. That's what this area is like. I have a feeling this is a lot more rock. But never been here in real life. Haven't really even looked around on like Google Earth or anything like that to get an idea of what this place looks like. Just happened to cross it in a live stream that another streamer was doing a few weeks ago. And I've been hooked ever since. Okay, I have a visual on the tent. Just over here to my 130. It's kind of behind these trees right now. There are some palm trees around, so I guess the right foliage, sort of. But I guarantee you this is going to look completely different come 2024. Alright, we're setting up to hover over the top of them. Again, I am going to hand fly this. I'm not going to worry about where my rescue swimmer is being dropped down. I am having to put a lot of left cyclic movement into staying steady. I am dropping right now like a rock. There we go. Let's set that up before we take our left hand off that throttle so we can actually So apparently our rescue swimmer is on his way down. But here we go again. I'm not seeing that value of the hoist distance moving. I think we're winding up with another glitch in the system here. Yep. No doors open. What is going on with this today? I've never experienced this with the HPG app. I'm really wondering if it has something to do with this scaling app that I'm using. Let's see if I can do this manually. So while I put this in a hover, what I'm going to do is go in and do a manual hoist control. And I'm going to go down. This is a lot to do one-handed. An aircraft that doesn't have any assists on. I believe if we do this, that's going to be making the aircraft. What I should be able to do. See, it's not even letting me change that. Can't do crew and payload, nothing. This app seems to be completely broken today. This is the second time I've tried the HEMS mission on this island. Maybe it's the aircraft. You know what? I really do think it is. Let's come back at this. I'm going to go to the main menu. I'm out. Hope you stay with me. I'm going to go to the main menu. I'm going to switch this back out for the Coast Guard version, and I'm going to get out of this Lufthansa thing. That's what I'm going to do. I have a feeling it's the aircraft. Here we go. Let's get back into this. We're just going to do a fresh start. We're going to get out of that livery, and we're going to go into the United States Coast Guard livery. We're going to come back into our FMEE. Set it as departure. You know what I'm going to even do is come in here and go to the options and take the name tags off. So we're going to take that, go off, and go back to apply and save. Go. We'll go back. We'll go back one more time. Go to the world map. We're going to use that right there as the departure. And here we go. One more time. I have a feeling this is going to fix the issue, and we'll actually be able to complete a HEMS mission on this island. Even though we've already flown into this airport, it's going to take just as long to load up this flight. One improvement in 2024 that I am anticipating changing the way I feel about wait times. It's glitchy. So far, this is one of the glitchiest flights I have ever had using the HPG Action Pack. I really hope it's because of the variant that I was using, and it doesn't have anything to do with this scaling that I'm using. We shall see. But here we go. Maybe we're just going to see a black screen for a while. Once again, we really kind of have to wonder what's going on. I'm getting a glitchy mouse. My cursor is no longer free moving. I'm curious if my PC might be wanting to take a nap here real quick. It shouldn't. It has been working wonderfully up to this point. However, ladies and gentlemen, this does not look promising at all. Here we go. Don't ask what that was about, but we are back. Ready to fly. Finally. No idea what went on there. Let's do a quick start to get us back in the air quick. How many times can you say quick? Let's get our aircraft reconfigured. So, you know, this is always fun. Something that I really hope they give us the ability to save so we can spawn in the same aircraft every time with the options that we want selected. Let's get this set up. I'm going to put VMS on the left, D center. Everything else looks good. So we set our barrel. Turn the brightness down on some of these monitors just a wee bit, huh? A little easier to look at. Something like that. Here we go. We should be coming into full flight ready. Let's choose another mission. Let's go with something a little bit closer since we've wasted enough time with these glitches, because I want to see if this worked. We're going to do a nearby mountain rescue. We're going to make it real close, 1 to 3 kilometers away. We're going to try another injured hiker. Accept the dispatch. There we go. And it's directly between us and the hospital. So, yeah, let's give it a whirl. Let's give it a whirly bird. No contact with ATC because there is nobody. I said nobody anywhere near us. This island is remote. We're in the middle of the western side of the Indian Ocean, to the east of Madagascar. We just took off from our home station, which is FMEE, on the island of Reunion, Saint Marie Reunion. Gorgeous location. Only 3 hospitals on the island so far in 2020. We'll see what happens in 2024. Closer. Let's hope it works. Please work. Now I can only imagine what kind of glitches we're going to run into during launch of the new sim coming Tuesday. Yes, that's right, 2 days from now. If you haven't ordered your 2024 flight sim, there we go, directly to us. If you haven't ordered it yet, I highly recommend you do it soon. I will be tracking the progress almost daily if I can with these live streams. We'll try to get some of these glitches with the chat taken care of, and we'll work on it as we go. This is a work in progress. This is my very first live stream with this channel. The last video I put up was a pre-recorded test, and it worked out pretty well. But we have upgraded today to a stream. And so far it's been unsuccessful. 2 attempts at a mountain recovery, both unsuccessful. There are the tents directly ahead of us. Again, HPG kind of puts those on top of the hill. You know what I might do, just for fun here? I'm going to tow in. Use the winch. Just towed in. Because it doesn't look like there's enough room to land. There might be enough. Let's side skid this. I've got enough room to come into this right about here. Now, in real life, those tents would have evaporated by now. We put down some hurricane force winds with these props. But since we're in sim, we're just going to assume that those are steel-plated tents that don't react to... You know what? I might be able to put this down right here. I think there's enough room. Let's give it a whirl. One whirly bird attempt at landing right next to our victim. And fire. And tent. There we go. Oh, whoa. Recover. You know what? That's a failed attempt if I ever heard it. So we are just going to try one more time to winch from above. flying again. Let's see how this works. We're going to come over to our data screen and see if the winch is operating properly. There we go. I see it going down. You can see that value on the left screen going down. We're at 45, 48, 50. It's tracking how far our flight surgeon is going down. So he should be on the ground now. There we go. All right, it worked. It is the variant of a helicopter. It's the only change I made. I am still using the scaling, getting a full 30 frames per second, nice and steady. I've explained why I prefer to not worry too much about frame rates. And I'll say it again. Every movie you go to see in the theaters is filmed at approximately 24 frames per second. And those win awards. So I don't feel like it's mandatory to bring this game to 60 FPS. It's still a smooth experience for me as the pilot and hopefully for you as an audience. There we go. And flying from outside with no assistance. If you don't know that, rapid flight, it's very difficult. And we're looking at another glitch here is, again, our flight mechanic is not visible, but as I zoom into the aircraft bay, it just appears out of nowhere. Not a big fan of that. Losing control. Let's go pick a simple aircraft and just fly this thing. Looks like our hoist is going back down, so we'll steady this up. Is on the way back up. Let's put some weight in here for our new passenger. We'll make him about 225 pounds. And let's see if we've got him in the plane yet. There we go. We've got him in. We're good. It says locate the nearby hospital. We're going to go over here to Felix, Guyane. I like Felix because of its location. What I don't like about it is the helipad, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute when we get over there. There is a helipad marked on the ground with that nice big plus sign with the H in the middle of it, but it's not modeled, it's just in the grass kind of a thing. Now, it could be true to life like that in this area, but reports from Microsoft and Asobo say that they have modeled every heliport around the planet, which obviously should include this one, right? So I am hoping that we get a much better heliport here at this hospital come 2024. Directly ahead of me is that bridge I was referring to, and behind it are the switchbacks. Look at that. I am so excited to see what this looks like in the next sim. 2024, I am confident, at least graphically, it will not disappoint. I have a visual on the landing pad. Alright, this should be our first successful HEMS mission on Reunion Island during a live stream. See, there's very little detail with this helipad. Coming in nice and steady. Nice and steady. Don't want to rotate too far back. That ground effect started to play with me a little bit there. Let's get back over the center. Pad. Slowly bring it down. Nice and steady. The passenger on board who's injured. We don't need to make it worse than it already is. And we're down. There we go. Not too bad. Not too bad. Let's cut those engines back and let this crew go to work. Again, these janky graphics where all of a sudden he just pops on Goes for a walk right through some of the aircraft. Comes to the back. 2 of them generate, opening the doors without even touching them. This is that new high-tech chopper where they just open automatically by themselves. And 2 becomes 1. Doors close. Why we go through all of this unnecessary animation? I don't know. But I am pretty sure it's not going to look the same in 2024. Alright, as he's getting dropped off, we're going to spool our engines back up to make sure that the exhaust does not smoke him out when he comes back. Should be timed out well enough. Still chilling at a cool 30 frames per second, only 11% to 12%, up to 13% of the CPU in use, 76% of the GPU is being utilized at this point, which is quite a bit more than it was yesterday, which has a lot to do with the upgraded settings that I did. I put a lot more of my settings to Ultra today since I'm testing out this app, the scaler. This one right here is lossless scaling 2.11 frame generation. It seems to be doing its job extremely well so far. It does glitch a little bit when you go between screens. I am working on a dual monitor system right now. But there we go. 1 mission in the books. Bing, bada, boom. There we go. Let's try another one. Let's go with something like a farmyard accident here. Let's go a little bit further away this time. Let's go 10 to 25 kilometers away and see what it does. Where is it going to put us? Back into the mountains a little bit over here to about the 210 degree bearing, approximately. We're going to accept that dispatch, and I think we'll bring this one to a different hospital than we did before. So we got to spool this back up, get our engines back to flight ready. We're going to remove the weight of our passenger since he is currently in the good hands of the doctors here at the Felix Guyal Hospital. And we are ready to get mission number 2 underway. Total distance, 3.3 nautical miles. Seems to be a magic number over the last couple of days. But let's enjoy some of this scenery on our way through. What do you say? The water's going to be moving in these rivers. I know that some third-party developers did something with the water around Lachlan, waterfalls and such, with footbridges, and they did a really good job with that area. I'd be curious to see if anything like that ever takes place on this island. Alright, a little over 2.4 miles left to go. Clearing the ridge. Let's go ahead and stop the climb, build up a little bit of speed. Go save the farmer. Why all of a sudden Adobe Media Encoder wants to launch is another great question. Welcome to the learning curve. I do not want that program running. My computer is doing enough. We are getting closer And it looks like, again, we're going to be picking up this farmer from a very densely vegetated part of this island. I actually think that this is going to be the first flight that I do in 2024 from the Chicagoland area. I really considered doing it in Chicago. However, once I found this location, it became my top pick very, very quickly. All right, so I have just overshot the farmer. I haven't gotten a visual on them yet, but they should be in this general vicinity where this little hut was over here. I have no visual just yet. They are directly in front of me right about now. I still do not have a visual. Now, normally for these farmyard accidents, we see an overturned tractor and somebody standing next to it waving their arms. And so far, I don't see anything. I might have someone laying underneath that house. It looks like there's a little bit of a balcony there. Yep. That is exactly where they are. You can see one person standing, waving his arms, and he's right next to the accident victim. Definitely no place to land here. So we're going to try another hoist rescue, and let's try to be a little more accurate with this one than we had with the last, huh? What do you say? Again, hand flying these. Very, very difficult, especially in a terrain like this where the winds have a mind of their own and they have a dramatic impact on hovering characteristics. There we go. I should be slightly to the right and behind. You can see that little dot there on the map. That is my victim. So I'm trying to use that as a reference as well as kind of look past that iPad into the horizon. And I'm just going to hold this steady as my crew gets landed down. I am not going to try to go for a hospital just yet. I'm going to focus on the hover. I really don't even want to go outside for this to see what's going on out there. I tend to lose control of the helicopter pretty quickly. I do need a co-pilot, which would be another great thing to include with 2024 going forward. A virtual co-pilot, so you could actually have a fellow simmer online with you. Let's try it. Yeah, you're losing it. You're losing it. See? Can't you just listen to yourself? You know better. At least it was a pretty good recovery so far. Again, I'm flying this with no assists on the H-145. This is all hand flown. There we go. We've got the hoist coming down. Looks like the hoist actually might wind up in the trees. There we go. We got him. We're going to drag him through the trees, but he's going to live through it. We're in the sim. All right, let's start to get a little bit of altitude. Bring this map back. I'm also going to bring this map back. And let's see what airport. You know what? I think what we're going to do is go down to Benoit. Right over here. There we go. The select a hospital option is available. We'll accept that as a destination. pretty well on our way. We're going to add in our new passenger's weight right there. Not overspeeding the engines at all. There we go. And we are en route. I don't know about you, but I have a feeling that this island, look at the bridge down there, this island is going to be off the chain in 2024. Again, I'll let everybody know that this is Reunion Island to the east of Madagascar in the West Indian Ocean. I have departed from airport FMEE. It's actually located just over the top of my rotors right now. That is the airport we took off from. Reunion Island, a very volcanic island. Topography is fantastic. Might be overspeeding a little bit. Let's see, yep, we're starting to get, there's that oscillation we get out of the H145 when it starts to move a little fast. We've got about 14.6 nautical miles till we get to the hospital. And we're just going to enjoy some scenery on our way through. Because this place has got some things to look at. Now, if you like to do canyon running, I found a new spot for you. One of these streams, I would actually love to do that in something like the F-35, F-22, maybe even some old warbirds. This place is great. Yep. I am looking forward to a whole new world out there with the 2024 version of this island. Considerably off the predetermined course, but still heading in the right direction. That's why I still have both maps open. You can see that there. And we'll get to see the second hospital that I've discovered on this island in 2020. So we have one more to compare it to within 2024. I do have to figure out why the chat is disabled within this live stream. Again, I sincerely apologize for not having that available. I've seen a couple of people come and go, maybe because of that, maybe not. Either way, I appreciate them stopping by. Two days left. Then we'll make the comparison. I will put some effort, possibly if time allows, into actually flying these same routes and doing some side-by-side comparisons with pre-recorded videos that we're watching now versus what we get when we start streaming 2024 in a few days. This location, though, come on. What? I'm sure this is going to be just 100% stunning in 2024. Great shot of the bridge. Let's see if it's a cliff. Looks like one. town right there on the river. Carved. I really hope the photogrammetry and terrain data on this island are the 4,000 times better that Asobo and Microsoft are promising us. Because that is going to make this place my number one pick for doing 2024 HEMS missions in the career mode. You know what I might even do is with this stream, once we drop off this patient, what do you think we get into an airplane and start to show you a little bit more about this island? I don't know. I don't think I want to cross platforms like that. You know what I mean? This is a search and rescue helicopter 241 stream. I think I might stay in genre. I'll feel it out. Something to consider. You can see the difference when I click away from the screen and it stops the scaling, and then when I click back into it, the clarity of the image in Flight Simulator just updates immediately as soon as that scaling is enabled. I'm pretty happy with the way it works. Especially since it corrected the issue of the trees popping in and out. Everything on the ground seems to be relatively static, a lot more so than it was yesterday. It's a good test. Getting considerably closer, within 2.5 miles, 2.3 miles of our hospital. Now, why this hospital would have a heliport is beyond me. This is actually a psychiatric hospital, according to the Google and everything, because I did look at what this location consisted of, and it's a psychiatric hospital with a heliport. Why not? Another glitch in 2020 that I'm hoping we get corrected here. We got this water that literally travels up the side of the bank. Very bizarre terrain. Pretty sure that's not how that looks. But can't wait to see what happens in 2024. Alright, we're about to overshoot. Let's slow this bad boy down, get a little bit more altitude. See if we can locate our helipad here. I have a visual. It's out there in the field. Coming around to our 2 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Center screen just about now, right off the nose. This is an uphill helipad. Again, I don't know if it's modeled like this in 2024, but I'm assuming it won't be, and it will be much more high fidelity than what we're seeing here. This H-145 is an extremely stable aircraft and perfect for HEMS missions, in my opinion. I forget what the model of the helicopter they have in the base sim for HEMS missions. I believe it is another Airbus, and I'm confident that it did get produced by the same company, Hype Performance Group. I just forget what model number it was. I know it has retractable landing gear, which I kind of like. The H160 by Hype also has retractable landing gear and an auto takeoff function that is pretty cool. But they never got around to making the H160 usable for the action pack. Look at that, it's not a bad landing. A little behind. Skids sunk into the ground a little bit. But once again, that should be fixed in 2024 with 4 times the resolution on this. I can't wait. See how he comes in and out of the ground. He's dragging his feet literally through the ground and he just pops up. I cannot wait to see these animations and what they've done to improve this. I mean, if they did 4,000 times the resolution on the ground, I'm hoping that these characters actually stay on the ground and you'll see them move with the terrain as well. They went through a lot of work detailing out the inside of this. Look at the grass coming through the view here. Yeah, they've done a lot of work inside of this aircraft, but the way the characters duplicate themselves, janky. 2024 at best deliver. One way or another, you guys gotta let me think. You guys gotta let me know what you think of the music. I think I'm a little undecided on it. All right, there's another successful mission. We'll submit the report on that. Done. Finished. Finito. Let's do a road accident. Let's make this one 10 to 25 kilometers away. Let's zoom out on this map and see where it's going to put us. What I'd like to do is get us over here to this hospital on the other side of the island that we haven't been to yet. If I'm not mistaken, that one is the CHU de Saint-Pierre Hospital. Let's get a little closer by changing up this mission's destination. Let's see what happens. Oh, got even further away. That's a little better, kind of closer to the island. Let's shoot for this one. It's a little bit of a flight, but that's what we're here to do, right? There we go. Looks like the mission is 10 nautical miles away. We have to get our patient's weight off of the chopper. Proper fuel consumption, we have approximately 540 pounds of fuel left on board, so this will hopefully get us out to our patient, to the hospital, and then to an airport to wrap up this stream. Should be more than enough fuel on board. It looks like even with the reserve tanks, I'm looking at about an hour and flight time remaining, which should be plenty. It's a big island, but it's not that big. Let's go for a flight. Again, we're going to try to make sure that we don't overspeed this. We're going to try to keep it just around 100 knots. I wonder wonder if the HTAWS is working in this mod. Nope. No, it's not. I want these things to be fixed. Asobo, Microsoft, Hype Performance Group. I hope you're listening. I have big expectations for 2024. What I'd like to do is also see if we can't get a large group of pilots to be working in one area, such as this island, all at the same time. We'll just get a swarm of helicopters flying around the island, making sure that everyone is healthy and well taken care of. The dripping on these cliff walls, I'm sure, will change in 2024. You can see some high wire power lines going down there. Yeah. A little more agriculture. And then just wilderness. I'm pretty sure that photo missions would be pretty cool on this island too. I'd be curious to see what kind of animals are indigenous to this island. So we have visited 2 out of 3 hospitals on this island so far. We started off with 2 horribly glitched streams. In the very beginning, I shouldn't say streams. They were just very messed up missions because of the type of helicopter that I was flying. For some reason, it wasn't properly doing the winch. Even when I tried to do a manual winch, I wasn't able to put a crew on the winch. And I was unable to recover my victims. And after the second attempt with that failing repeatedly, I went back and switched back into the U.S. Coast Guard version of the H-145 that you see here. And all of those problems went away. I wonder if that's a waterfall down there at like the, I would say maybe 230, a little bit of a white spot. And again, down at around 9, that's definitely that's gotta be a waterfall. That's just a cliff. And the river continues after the, yeah. Man, I can't wait to see what they do with this. So much potential. I have a feeling this is our spot for 2024. Career mode HEMS missions. I think I've found my base. Still 30 frames. That GPU though, she's working today, boy. 75% capacity at that GPU, 15% of the CPU. Let's throw the computer specs up there one more time so we can show you guys what I'm working with. Again, this is a 16-core, 32-thread Ryzen 2950X with 128 gigabytes of RAM, Wi-Fi. Not that horrible of a speed, but I mean, so far so good. At least in 2020, this has been working very well for me. going to change anything until the sim is launched and we get a reaction and we can see firsthand how my system reacts. Everyone's kind of worried about whether or not their specs are going to keep up. And everyone keeps talking about their higher end graphics cards. But my 2080 Ti is keeping up with this so far very well, as far as I'm concerned. You know, getting that 60 FPS to me isn't all that important. 24 frames, I'm telling you. That's all I need. It looks like this rescue mission might actually be at the base of this valley. Look at this. So now we're going to have to find a way to descend in here. I think we're going to have to make an orbit or two to safely get down there. There's a nice cool bridge. Little town tucked into this valley. Could you imagine living here? Wow, where do you have your coffee every morning? Oh yeah, it's definitely down here. I've got that torque all the way down to about 21.5%. Coming down a little too slow, so what I'm going to do is start that orbit and just get a little closer here to the bottom of this valley, but not too quickly as to damage the aircraft or overshoot. Again, time is of the essence when it comes to helicopter emergency services. Path of least resistance is what we're going to take. But we always need to be safe in the process. We are definitely getting close. I'm going to go ahead and shut this map on the side here. Get our visibility a little more optimized. Now I'm more of a hover. There, I think I see some ambulance right there in front of that. Yep, that would be our accident scene. I do have a landing spot right here in that field that you can see in front of my feet. I think I might actually descend right into that field. Call that our LZ. It looks flat enough from my perspective. We are way down in this valley now. Coming in, yeah, this should be fine. This should work. See, we got that motorcycle there buried under the ground. This must have been a violent accident. Let's see if we can't scooch a little closer here. Spin the chopper around. I can see there's some uneven ground where I'm at currently, so I'm going to try to find something a little more flat, maybe even on this road. Keep that rotor wash away from our victims. There we go. Something like that. Wow. And we're down. Take that engine, put it back beyond idle. Let's see what we got here. What a location. Yep, this is definitely the #1 option so far when it comes to a new base of operations for HEMS 2024. Now, here's something else that really bothers me about this. We can see the back of the helicopter open, but you can't see the crew. I can still see the guy waving his hands. I can still see the victim lying on the ground, but my crew isn't visible. If I get a little closer, bang, they just pop on. Why can you see the victim and his little friend waving, but not the crew? I don't need answers. I just want it fixed. All right. He's been out there long enough. Let's go ahead and get back into the chopper here. We'll get this back to an idle configuration. That should trigger our crew and let him know that we are ready to go. And let's, while we're thinking about it, put our destination in. I believe this is it. Nope, a little too close. Let's take that one off. Saint Pierre. Yep, CHU, de Saint Pierre. Getting him loaded back in. And like I said, we're going to be going off to the CHU de Saint Pierre with a critical patient transfer. We are on the island of Reunion, just east of Madagascar. There we go. We have the patient loaded in. We should be getting a cabin secure. There we go. We're going to select our hospital, accept the destination, back our map off a little bit, and we're going to change up our weights one more time. We'll add the 245-pound passenger. There we go. We're looking at 465 pounds of fuel left with an hour and 25 minutes of flight time remaining. Should be plenty of time to get there safely. Here we go. I have flight conditions ready for takeoff. We'll avoid putting too much rotor wash down on them as we depart. And now the trick is going to be climbing out of this valley without gaining too much speed, so we can clear the cliff wall on the other side of this valley. But man, look at this location. This is going to be epic in 2024. Yep. I have a feeling this is where we're going to wind up. We'll see. I mean, the Southern California location is great because there are the mountains, there is the ocean, there's a lot of hospitals in the area. You've got ports with working docks where you can actually see the cranes at the ports working. I mean, that's a lot of cool animations and stuff like that, but how often are we really at those spots to enjoy that kind of animation? And who's to say we can't go there at any point anyway? But as far as a career goes, I honestly think that our little Reunion Island find right here is going to be the place to be conducting these missions. I have a feeling that I'm in a little bit of a niche category when it comes to piloting in Microsoft Flight Simulator, simply because a lot of people like the Navigraph and all of the flight planning that goes into fixed wing aircraft and the ATC calls that they get to do through all of the different plugins and third-party apps that are, you know, really working hard at getting that experience to be as close to real world as possible. But I have never heard anyone streaming in those platforms using a rotorcraft. They're always in fixed wing. And it's fascinating, don't get me wrong, I enjoy that part of it too. But is there a large community out there, or even a small community of people out there that enjoy the type of missions that we're doing here today? It seems like more task-oriented instead of just a destination that you're going to. You know, when I'm doing these missions, I have multiple destinations to get to. there's a task at hand. There's something to do instead of just use your imagination, you know. Like right now, if I were to turn around in this aircraft and see what's behind me, I've got a patient in my aircraft, you know. He is in there. He's hooked up to my machines. None of these really work. They don't give you any accurate telemetry or anything like that, but I mean, I got a patient in the back of my helicopter. Crew's on board, looking good. No one's really doing anything. He doesn't need any work at this point. They're just monitoring his vitals during the flight. Let's get back into our piloting location here. Another 13 and a half miles to get there. You know what I mean, though? It seems like I've got something to do. There's more of a purpose, I suppose, besides the joy of flying. It gives me something to do. I like things to do. Although career mode itself is going to provide that for fixed-wing pilots and give them missions, you know, cargo transports, VIP transports. Going through the clouds a little bit here. Our pitot heat is on. All of our telemetry looks good. We're getting no error messages on the helicopter. We're in the green. I like it. But look at what is this going to look like in 24? Are you kidding me? Look at this. What a landscape. Now, the actual volcano itself on this island, at least what looks to be the most recently active volcano, is just over the top of my rotors at this point. At the top of the highest point of the island. And there's a full-blown crater there, but you can see all of these other little mounds around the area. I have a feeling that those at one point were volcanic too. Because, I mean, when you're flying around this place in an airplane and you've got a better overhead view of, like, you know, skies clear, in those conditions, you can see a lot more craters that look like volcanoes all over this island. Mainly on, like, the southeast side of the island. Let's see if we can get a visual on this map as we fly through here. Oh, where the crater is. Yeah, not really. How about on this one? Because we can actually move around this map a little bit. Yeah, somewhere in here. That's the crater. I wish there was a... Maybe we should do a airplane flight around here, just to give you a better idea. Or I could just say, you know what? On your own time, it may behoove you to explore this island if you enjoy the tropical, gorgeous landscapes that are created by volcanic islands like Hawaii. All right. We have cleared the mountains. We are on the other side. We are going to start our descent. Maybe enjoy a little bit more of this view. What? What? I really want to visit this place in real life someday. This place is amazing. Look at the just rivers, cliffs, cities, sports venues. Looks like we got a soccer field just off of our nose right there. Another option for HEMS missions. You know, those people hurt themselves sometimes and need to get airlifted. And if we have an asset close enough, we're always happy to help. Got another great bridge just over the top of our rotor right there. It looks like a track right there, just over the rotor system again, maybe a school. Some more agriculture looks like we have set up here. Man, this place is great. I think it's a guarantee at this point that I'm going to at least first start to explore this area outside of career mode, see what the new photogrammetry and ground resolution do to the area before I make the decision. But I have a feeling I'm going to start here instead of Southern California or even Chicago. I would say it would be fun to have somebody to fly along with, but either way, I hope you guys enjoy the content. And I hope you can learn something from this and help you make a decision about your system when it comes to the transition from 20 to 24. Because again, we'll throw it up there one more time. It'll never get old. These are my computer specs and what I am working with. Again, we've got the Ryzen Threadripper 2950X, 16-core, 32-thread, 128 gigabytes of RAM, 2080 Ti NVIDIA graphics card, and a pretty average internet connection via Wi-Fi. That, I think, will be the biggest factor in 2024 is that internet connection. If I have to update anything, that might be what it is. At least from the reports and all the things I'm hearing about the new sim, because it is, the thin client, I think is how they worded it. More of the information is going to be streamed than it is stored on your hard drive. So the sim is going to rely a lot more on internet connection. I will say though, with all of these settings set to ultra, my GPU is working a lot harder today than it was yesterday. It's been averaging around 80-81% for the majority of this flight. CPU, 12%, 13%, zero latency. I'm sorry, what did you say? Zero. None. No latency, and I will attribute that 100% to the scaling app that I'm running. That is an incredible piece of software running in the background here that is doing a whole lot for the graphics and just the overall smoothness of the experience. That scaler's working. But it is also pushing my GPU to do its job, which I am really happy to see. I mean, if you got the equipment, put it to work, right? It's only a 2080 Ti, but it's, for me anyway, it's putting out a really smooth experience. I don't know how this looks to you as a viewer, but I'm not seeing any glitching or stuttering or any odd motion blur. It looks clean. But what is this going to look like in 2024? I cannot wait to find out. I believe I have the helipad in sight. I am not sure if that is it, though. That is a good question. Not what I wanted to see there either. What I really wanted to see is what hospital we were going to. If I'm not mistaken, we were going to this CHU de Saint-Pierre. I'm pretty sure there is a helipad at this hospital. But where? Where, oh where is it? Let's get a little bit closer on the map. I'm pointing at it. I just don't see it visually yet. Let's kind of give this thing an orbit and spin it around. I think this is actually the hospital that does not have a helipad modeled into it. There are no third-party add-ons in this area that I know of. This island, again, which is Reunion Island in the eastern Indian Ocean to the, it is the, western side of the Indian Ocean, east of Madagascar, Reunion Island. We took off from airport ICAO F Foxtrot M Mike Echo Echo Foxtrot Mike Echo Echo. There's a little bit of a circle here. I think that's more like a traffic circle than anything, but it may also work as a helipad. I don't know. I don't think there's enough room for a rotor system. Well, we'll see it. Right about here should work. I don't like landing this from the external view. I don't like flying it from the external view unless it's forward flight. But again, there is no modeled heliport here at this hospital. And according to Microsoft and Asobo and Jorg, they have gone through the trouble of modeling every heliport on the planet. So we should see one here if this hospital is equipped with one in real life in the next sim. I also want to see some of these graphics change on the side of these buildings. No matter what building you land next to, there's always some kind of a shoe store, clothing store. Doesn't matter if it's a hospital or not. It looks like you're at a store. Kind of weird. Again, we get these duplicated crew members. One just stands there looking ridiculous, opening and closing doors without even touching them, merging back into a single person. Let's see just how far we get the gurney to go into the ground this time. Very robotic movements. I'm hoping they clean this up in 2024. I really apologize that there's no chat available right now. This is something that I'm going to be looking into for future videos. I've got a couple of days to work it out before we launch the 2024 version. I would really like to be able to react to your questions and see what you have to say about this. But this island is a definite contender for the 2024 career mode helicopter emergency medical services missions. This place is awesome. Let's get that rotor blade back up to a flight condition. As we get the crew back on board, we'll accept this mission as another successful mission today. This makes number 3 as far as delivered patients. We had 2 that were horrible up in the beginning because I was using a different livery for this chopper, and none of the hoisting operations worked properly, so we had to kind of ditch and switch back to our tried and true U.S. Coast Guard livery to get that done. And I think what we're going to do now is find a nearby airport and take this bad boy home. I am getting a little bit low on fuel. Let's go over here, and there we go. I think it's directly ahead of us, slightly up the shore, not too far away. We do have to get rid of our patient's weight here real quick before we take off. Let's reduce that down to nothing again. There we go. Oh, we're moving forward, moving forward. Let's get up there. There we go. H-145, clearing the top of the building. This place, who wouldn't want to run some helicopter emergency medical service missions in a spot like this? Beats California, definitely beats Chicago. I think we have a number 1 contender to start our comparisons. And I think this is going to be the winner, bar none. This place is so dynamic. I would assume that this is some kind of boat port. We should see a lot of boat traffic in here. I'd like to see some cruise ships off the shore. Maybe do some hoisting off the cruise ships. I don't think I even have any boat traffic, leisure, or otherwise currently running in the sim just to keep the things down. Oh yeah, look, we got boats. Oh yeah. Active port. Small. Personal craft, but that doesn't mean there aren't more on the other side of the island that support larger vessels. We shall see. We shall see. There is our airport. Pretty great flight overall. You got to see a little bit of the island and some of the topography that Reunion Island offers. And again, I really do think that this is going to be an optimal location for 2024's career mode when it comes to these types of missions. Because this terrain offers everything you could possibly ask for. I can imagine some of the cliffside rescues that are going to take place back there. Down in the valleys with the rivers and such should be visually pretty impressive, and see what the agricultural does to this island as well. You can see here we've got some agriculture near the shore. They're supposed to be modeling it accurately and according to the seasons. I would assume we get seasons on this island. It does seem tropical, but as far as where it sits in relation to the equator, I'm pretty sure we're going to at least get some like snow-capped mountains. I'm not sure. But come on, this is going to be amazing. This is definitely our first stop, 2024. Tuesday. Can you wait? No, I can't. It cannot get here fast enough. I do work that day. Hopefully I'll be able to get to a stream as soon as I return home from work. But either way, even if I have to stay up late, I will be in that sim until I pass out behind the controls. I cannot wait for this to launch. I've never been more excited about a software launch. 4,000 times the resolution on the ground. Wake turbulence. Animal migrations. Changing seasons. Career mode, and we have HEMS missions in sim from day one. No second or third party plugins needed to get that done. That's exciting stuff. And the fact that Hyper Performance Group is still sort of running this show when it comes to these missions. It's going to be very similar to what we're experiencing here in 2020 and that action pack that they have. But on a whole new level. We're going to put this thing down in front of a little gas pump here. These are supposed to be modeled much better in 2024 as well. Tell you what, hand flying this thing close to the ground is challenging, to say the least. Very true to life as far as the controls go. And we're just going to put her down nice and gentle, right about there. And we're down. There we go, down to 21%. Not bad, good flight. Let's see where we parked. A little off the center of the line, but I will take it. Let's spool that engine down. That flight ran at 30 FPS the whole time, pushing that GPU to 80%. It did well. I'm happy with it. I don't think I have anything to worry about in 2024 except for the internet speed. And again, that has been pretty static and steady all night long. That latency has been at 0 the whole time. CPU is running low. I'm not using all of the threads. Again, it's a 16 core, 32 thread AMD Ryzen Threadripper 2950X with 128 gigs of DDR4 RAM on a 2080 Ti NVIDIA graphics card, 11 gigabytes of video RAM, and those internet speeds are off of Wi-Fi. And it's running stable. I have a really good feeling that we're going to perform well in 2024, and I don't have anything to worry about, and you shouldn't either. All right, we are going to shut this one down. Let's turn our lights off. We're going to kill our fuel pumps. We're going to take the pitot tubes and turn those off. We're going to disarm our LAVCS, and then we're going to go to our batteries, kill them, and see what a flight time we pulled off. Only 56 minutes, almost to see. And here's another thing that bothers me. It didn't track a single takeoff or landing for that entire flight. Why not? Hopefully they get these things fixed. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you joining us today for the stream. We will see you tomorrow for the next one. We're going to revisit Los Angeles, show you a little bit more of the hospitals in that area, and give you more of a comparison from 2020 to 24 tomorrow. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for stopping by.